Alrighty, welcome back. On this one I'm going to show you how I'm going to hook up my exhaust. But before I do that, I got a couple things I'm going to do. Trenton Fancy is a 10-year-old, just had his birthday. I want to give him a little shout out because he's a gearhead. He's into cars. And Chuck Barkhouse is a friend of his, called me and asked me to throw him a little shout out, and that's what I'm going to do. Keep at her, Trenton Fancy. You can do whatever you want to. All you have to do is keep positive. Also, I've got Zach Rafew's in the house. He's helping me. He's coming. He wants to learn a little bit about the game. He knows a little bit, and he wants to learn a little bit more, but he's in here, and he's cleaning off the rear end for Jolene's Bugatti. Jolene's Bugatti's chassis in here. We pulled the rear end this morning, and I'm getting Zach to clean off all the brackets that was on the rear end. We're going to clean it all off and sand them all down and make it look right, and Zach's doing a good job, and I want to thank him for helping me. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it. Actually, Zach's going to come a bit, are you not, Zach? You're going to come and help out a bit and see what goes on. We'll go from there. But right now I'm going to show how I'm going to put the exhaust on. I've got the air or the sensors hooked up. You can see the sensor on this side. It's hooked up. We've got the one on the other side. We'll go over the other side and show this one. Also, the sensors are screwed to the chassis and hooked up. They're not completely finished. We're just mocking this thing up so we can get it, somewhere where it's close. And then when we take the body off again, then we'll really dial things in. We got a cross member in the back we still got to weld up. There's a bunch of stuff that has to be done. And as you see, as I'm building this car, everything is custom. We have to make everything. So it takes what it takes. But what I have got going on here right now is I got the exhaust running out the side. And the reason I put the exhaust on the outside because dual exhaust going all the way to the back would cost you a bunch of money. To buy these pipes, I think it was cheaper than running a dual exhaust. Plus, it gives a chrome look down the side. I've made them come out through the bottom of the fender and used them on the sill, so it just kind of gives it a good look. Most, I'm not saying all, most custom cars that have the chrome exhaust running down the side or underneath the sill are not function. Most of them, not all of them, most of them. But I want to make these ones functionable. I want to use them. Where I have air ride in this car, it goes quite low, and I do not want to run the exhaust underneath the chassis. I don't want to run the exhaust underneath there because it'd be down about that far, and it looked like it probably hit the ground. It probably wouldn't look that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing as what they've got done here. Come take a look. This is the cross member where the motor mounts are. They drilled a hole, they bring it right straight through, they welded on the other side, and they welded on this side. So basically what I'm going to do is, I've got this, I don't know how many inch this is. I got some 4.5-inch pipe. I'm going to cut a hole in the side of the chassis, and I'm going to make it long enough that I can shove it through the chassis. I'll weld it on this side, and then I'll weld it on the other side to make the chassis strong again. You're more than welcome, Zach. Do whatever you please. Doesn't matter. We just want to introduce Zach because there's going to be some noise in the background, and Zach is the one that's doing it, and he's doing a good job so far. So keep it up, Zach. Keep it up. Yeah. So I'm going to put this through the chassis here to allow my exhaust pipe. I'm going to have probably a pair of shorty headers on the 350, and they'll come down and they'll come through the chassis here and hook onto this. It's not exactly where it's supposed to be right now. It's kind of aimed down a little bit. I'm going to have to aim this up a little bit and make it go through there. But I can do that when I take the exhaust off. I can change the angle of it. But what I need is I need a spot for the exhaust to run through. My exhaust is going to run through this and hook onto this. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to cut a hole with the plasma cutter. Cut a hole there, and then I'm going to go in the other side and cut a hole on the other side. We'll shove a piece of this through. We'll mark it on both sides, and then we'll weld it in so the exhaust can run through it. And that's because I do not want the exhaust to come underneath the chassis. So let's get the plasma cutter going here. It's snowing here today in Nova Scotia. My daughter came in and said that her brakes weren't working, and I said, "Your brakes are working, sweetheart. It's just that you're sliding." So it's her first time driving in the wintertime. She was quite scared, and I can't say as I blame her. I probably shouldn't have snickered, but it's something that happens here. You really have to slow down when it comes wintertime. She has half used winter tires on. We're going to have to make sure we get some new winter tires on so she feels safe. And everybody should have winter tires on this time of year. We haven't got ours on yet, but we're going to. We have an appointment, but you really have to take care of this weather because you'll end up in the ditch or in the side of somebody. So I've got that there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure how wide the chassis is and get myself a piece of pipe cut, and then I'll put it up there and trace a mark it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just measuring that across there. My chassis is about 3.5 wide. 3.5 wide. So what I'm going to do is, I can see I got a little bend in there. I'm hoping that I got enough. There's 8 inches right there. That's good. So that gives me 2 of them. I need 1 for the other side. There's 4. Just going to make a couple marks so we can make something look right. Zach, you having fun? All right. Zach's having fun. He's having fun. Just going to mark it like this so I can get it all the way around. I'll cut 2 is to cut 1. That way there it's going to be a little bit long. We're 3.5. The frame's about 3.5, so we'll have a little bit extra to shove through and make sure it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 1. That way there, the exhaust is not running underneath the chassis. I don't want that. We're going to make it run through the chassis. Get a grinder set up here. There we go, get a grinder disc. A lot of good comments lately. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Got to thank all the YouTubers and Facebookers for that. We appreciate it. We really do. I need hooked up here. Got my clickers on, got my boots on. Got my clickers on. Do you a little tap dance, but I'm busy. Do you a little tap dance, but I'm busy. And it's just one step after another, as we get the sensors put on. Now we're on to the exhaust, and then we're on to something else after that. I got the steering to hook up. This car has the fenders welded on the front. I got a one-piece body. I got it welded up here. I got the corners around it. I'm going to have to deal with the steering. And all that stuff has to be mocked up before we start painting anything or doing anything. It all has to be sort of put together. If you do not, after you paint it, it's not the time. You have to do it before it's painted. There, that's going to be going through the chassis. Welded on this side, welded on this side, exactly what they have there. This is 8th plate or better. So I'm going to put this underneath here, get a front rail there. Just want to get a... I'm going to have to aim that up a little bit. That can be aimed up a little bit, just like that. If I'm... It's quite a big hole there, but once we weld that in there, it should be fine. Should be fine. Okay. We're going right through. The exhaust is going to run through that hole. I do not want to run the exhaust underneath the chassis. It seems like an awful big hole, but once that's welded all the way around, that should not go anywhere. It should be just as strong as anything else. They've got one welded through there, it's fine. And that's what I'm going by. And that's what I'm going by. So, I'm going to cut a hole through there. Just looking at it. Then I'm going to have to get on the other side and cut a hole through it. Let's get some air going. Once it's welded back up, the integrity will be put back in it. Oh, there's a mouse house. That's some good thick metal. That's some good thick metal. Kind of die grind that a little bit, get that fit in there. We don't want to get it too big. I'm going to take a die grinder, get in there. Try to get the first hole right first, or start cutting another hole in it. I want to try to get that one right. I got the die grinder. Up. I had it back there. It's right here. Actually, I'm just going to bust it back with this. What the hey? Bust it back with this instead of making the noise. Bust it back. Where's my piece? And let's knock her back a little bit. The old mouse house is on fire. What? Nope. The mouse house is on fire. All right. It'll fit right there. There we go. You weld that in there. So if you're thinking, if once we weld that back in there, there's quite a chunk of hole taken out of there. But once that's back in there, the only way it can't bend once it's all welded. This is all holding it back together. There's no way you'd have to crush that, pull that apart. Way too much going on there to hurt that at all. So I think we're fine. So. We're going to try to make sure we try to get a hole on the other side in the exact same spot is what I'd like to do. Yeah, exact same spot. So, as I'm doing that, I'm going to go in the inside of the car, underneath the car, and do another hole. And hopefully I can get it straight on the money. And that will allow the exhaust to come through. This is nothing new for this, but it's nothing new for the automobile industry to cut a hole in your chassis to run the exhaust through, because it's done on many cars. Done on many. I just have to find out where it comes through the best. Ouch! Ow! That hurt my thumb. Hurt my thumb. Alrighty. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in it. I don't want to put a big gaping hole in it, so I'll cut a hole in it so I can see where it's at, and then I can do a better job. Basically, we'll start with a small hole on this side. That's what we're going to do. Alrighty, we're in the right vicinity, because I can see. Alrighty, I'm just going to keep cutting it until okay, we're more on the back side, I can feel it, close on that side. Alright, let's keep cutting. Getting closer. Close on this side. Close on that side. Lots to go on the back side. closer. A little bit more on this side. Beautiful in there, beautiful. Awesome. Wow. That was nice. Nice. Yeah. Well done. A little bit more right there. Loving it, loving it. Dinner. Close. Feeling, seeing where it's close and where it's not. Alrighty. We're basically right on the money, pretty close. Alrighty, we're there. What I'm going to do now is okay, we're there. I'm going to take the die grinder and do the next little bit because I don't feel like I want to. Just going to angle it back a little bit. I think I'll weld this side to where it's at, and we'll cut that front side off. Fitting pretty good. Just want to get out now. Got a nice hole going on there. Going to take the die grinder, die grind the other side. Take this off. Just want to make a nice fit on that. Also, when I weld it, I want to make sure that it's the exact same thing. I don't want to weld it like this. I want to weld it so it's like this. So like this. Put my little finger down there. It's 45 like that. I don't want to weld it like that and put a big goober on the outside of it. I want to make sure I weld it together and there's lots of penetration. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to go back underneath there again. I'm going to take this out. Turn it off so it don't burn me. Come on, girl. Come on. We've got a nice tight fit. I'm going to get on the other side, do a little die grinding to make it fit right. I'm going to put some noise on. If you don't like the noise, just turn the TV down. Pretty well, eh? That's basically it. Actually, if I took and put this up there. Thanks, baby. Thanks, baby. When it comes to a custom car, it's generally everything is custom. Right from the exhaust. I can see that now. I'm going to turn the plasma cutter back on and cut it, I guess, because that's going to take too much. I'm going to take and turn the plasma cutter back on. I think I can cut that out nice. No, I know I can. I know I can. Boom, boom, boom. Mouse house on fire? Alrighty. Now, we're going to get our piece. Good way to clean up the chassis. Be surprised what's there when you're doing this sort of stuff. Now, I'm going to clean off a little piece of that. Huh? There it is there, baby. Thank you very much. Jolene woke up this morning at 8:30 looking like a 10. Didn't you, baby? Huh? She woke up this morning at 8:30 looking like a 10. I'm going to shove this through. I'm going to try to get a true read on it. This is the end that went in there, yep. All the integrity will be put back in once we get this in the hole and get it welded in there. There we go. There we go. Now we're talking, cooking with gas. Now I got a nice on this side. If you want to come on this side, sweetheart, can you come on this side? Just look down through the, maybe down through the bonnet. That's how I want to weld that up right there. You can see that it's not all the way through. Got a little bit of gap there. I can weld that all nice in there, and I can leave all the weld in there instead of grinding it off. That's basically what I want to do. I want to leave it just like that. And then I can weld that up and do a nice job on that. There'll be lots of weld there, penetrate nice, and do a good job. On this side, I'm going to take a marker, and I'm going to mark a line on it where it fit in. I'm also going to trace the outside of it. If you want to come on this. I'm just tracing this on the outside here, where I've got to cut this off. Hope I'm not turning down your... Just trying to mark it. Just as if I'm Frenching something. Exact same thing. Just trying to mark it so I know where to cut it off. And I got a little mark on the outside here so I know where I put it in. Got her fit tight and right, that's for sure. Come on out, baby. Come on out. Sharp places. There we go. What? You're gonna give me a hammer. See, I just can't hit it, right? There we go. Come on now. There we go. She's in there. Come on. She's caught, that's for sure. You can't say it doesn't fit. Grr. Come on. There's a sharp spot there. We're going to take off with the grinder. Whew. Alrighty, got that out. Now what I'm going to do right quick like is I'm going to knock a little bit of that off. Right there. Little sharp spot. That should help. Now I've marked it right there. That's where the bottom is. I've marked it right there, so I'm just going to take a mark it where I cut it off. And I'm going to line that up with the mark that I put on the bottom of it. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut the line. I still know where it goes because I got the mark on there, so that's going to line up with the mark that I got right there. I'm going to take and knock this off. I want the air. Now I'm going to take this, knock off some paint on the outside of the chassis. I'm going to try to knock that back in there, lining that line back up so it fits the chassis right. With our hammy, got some nice gap. Woo. Awesome. Okay, we'll shut this air off. Let's get the air and plunk it in place. So now, if you can picture it, if that chassis wanted to bend, it would have to pull that pipe apart. Can't see it pulling that pipe apart because it's going to be welded all the way around just like the engine mount. Now, we want to do a good job welding it on. Yes, we do. The best job we can. And then we'll have a spot for the exhaust to go through to make that live. Instead of running the exhaust underneath the car, I don't want to do that. I want not underneath the chassis. We're going for low, not for high rider. We're going for low. Low, low, low. So we'll put that on there. It's off. I'm going to turn that. That's off right now. If you ever hit the trigger, you sure could burn yourself quite quickly by mistake. Alrighty, gonna go up a little, try get a little bit more. Going underneath. The other side. Looks nice. Looks real nice. Awesome. Burn the paint up on the car. Pinholes there. And anything that don't look right, make sure you know you can weld it again. You can weld it again if it does not look, but that looks good to me. Now we're pointing through. Our exhaust can come down off. The engine will be here. The header can come down. We can run a short pipe and come down through here, and the exhaust can run to there, not underneath. If this was going, if you think this is going to bend, you'd have to pull that 1/8 plate. You'd have to pull that up, this round circle apart, and that's not going to happen. We've doubled this up here. That's doubled up metal there. That's doubled up metal there. Yeah, maybe made a little bit stronger, maybe. And they've done the exact same thing on their transmission mount and with less going on there, so we should be fine here. That's what I'm pointing out, I guess. More hole over here to weld, and I'm going to go for it. Just so I can say it's complete. Beautiful. And I will not grind any of that off. Just going to leave it. Just going to leave it. So now we have a hole for the exhaust to come through. Not going to run underneath the car. I think that's going to work fantastic. It's going to work fantastic. Got a little bit dirty. That's okay. We burned a mouse house up. Fantastic. So if you can picture it, the metal on the bottom of the chassis has been doubled up because we've got a piece of stuff been doubled up. The metal on the top of the chassis has been doubled up. Plus, we've been welded all the way around the circle, so it cannot pull. You would have to pull everything apart there to bend that. And I'm saying it's okay, and that's what we're going with. Didn't not want to make the hole any smaller than that because, you know, when an engine gets rocking and rolling, I don't want to go back, 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 back. Don't want to have that happening, and that's what's going on. As I'm doing this car, you must understand, and if you don't understand, everything is being made right from the suspension to the exhaust to the tail lights to the front lights to the front bumper to the hood to the window to the glass to the back window, and you know, you have to understand that stuff. It takes time, and yeah, it's not 42 minutes. I'm doing it as fast as I can. And if your worker come back to you and say, yeah, I got the hole welded in, I got the piece all put in, what would you tell them? Go to the other side. How long did that take us? We're at 44 minutes. I have to explain it also. But there you go. There's our peekaboo hole for our exhaust. And like I said, I did it because I do not want the exhaust running underneath the car. The car is going on the ground. It would just either rattle on the bottom of the chassis or it would be too low and you would see it. Do not want that, and that's my solution right there. We're moving straight forward. We're moving straight forward. As we get all this stuff done, the taillight still has to be welded in. I might just tack that in. I don't know if anybody needs to see me weld that in or not, but I might just tack that in, get that welded in. That has to be done. I have to make a hood, how to get the hood closed and keep it shut. I need a latch for that, so I have to make that. I have to make the steering. As we come over here, the steering is not hooked up yet. I cut the steering off. You can see where I cut the steering off. You can see where I cut that off. Now where I cut that off, when I go to take the body off, the steering on these with the steering box itself, the shaft does not come out. It does come out if you go through a bunch of work, but I do not want to pull the shaft in and out when I'm taking the body off. I'm going to put a universal joint in there and put a steering column in there. I'll be able to take the universal joint apart, then I'll be able to pull the steering column out, and then I'll be able to steer the car. But I'm going to have to make that too. We sent for a universal joint, and what else we sent for? We sent for a steering column and a universal joint, so that can be done. You can see, yeah, I still have to fix this hole here yet. I still have to put some kind of mechanism in here for this. We went to Princess Auto and I bought an actuator, a small one. I'm going to put an actuator in here and pin it to the bottom of the hood, and I'm going to have a switch on the inside of the car so I can hit that and it'll push the hood up so I can undo the actuator and then lift the hood up. Anyways, I'll show you how I do that. I don't know exactly how it's going to go yet, just like I didn't know exactly how that's going to go. I just do it in front of your eyes, and what happens, happens. And I'm very happy with the way that looks. It's welded in nice. I got some nice gap around there, so welded in very nice. Very happy with that. Also, when I get all this stuff done, like the air ride sensors, they have to, everything is like 80%. When I pull the body off and repaint the chassis, because I'm going to have to, because I got pieces welded on it, I want to make it look nice. When I repaint the chassis, pull the body off, I will make sure that all that stuff is welded up nice, ground nice, and when we repaint it, it'll look nice. I'm not going with the paint color that's underneath there now, so I'm going to probably have to run a little sandpaper all over it and change the color on the underneath of it. That's going to take a little bit of time. But we're moving straight forward, and this stuff all takes time. It all takes time. Very happy with that. Let's give away a hat or a shirt. I actually played with Jolene's car this morning a little bit. What I'm going to do is I've got one wheel well blacked out as I got going here. I just got it blacked out a little bit, put a little bit on at a time. What's going on is I'm going to do one wheel well at a time, make them look nice underneath, and then I'll black it out. Once I black it out, then I'll go back in and I'll make sure I seam seal everything so it's tight and right, and then I'll go in and black it out again. Basically, that's what I'm doing. So basically, I put a coat on of black undercoating. I've blacked it out. I'm going to let it dry. It's just a thin coat. Then I'll come in and seam seal it and then redo it again. I'm just going to give it an underbase. I want to make it look really good underneath, and that's what I'm doing. Zach is doing the rear end right at the present moment. He's going to give me some help, and I appreciate that. Let's give away a hat or shirt. Appreciate everybody giving good comments. We appreciate it. Also, there was a comment wrote in by Dan, I think his name was, saying that, what was he saying? He was saying good stuff, but what I want to say is that we are doing the best job we can in the little shop that we have to show other people that they can do the exact same thing. There's more people out there that do not have the money to build a $200,000 car or a whatever, $300,000 car, or even a $50,000 car. $50,000 is a lot of money. And when I was a young man, $50,000 was not there. I had to support myself and a family and feed mouths. But doesn't mean that you cannot play in this sport. You can play in this sport, and as I'm doing it, I'm trying to show other people that you can do the exact same thing with no money. Just there has to be some money, obviously, but you have to use your brain to get where you want to go, and do not say can't about anything. You can. All you have to do is become creative. And when you become creative, you use the things you have to do the best job you can to make yourself happy. And if you want to play in this sport, you want to build a Bugatti, let's get real. That Bugatti, other than the engine, there wouldn't be $10,000 in it. I have made it from my brain, out of the stuff that we have here, and been, what can I say, creative to make it. I am just as happy as a $40 million Bugatti. It looks exactly the same as they look. Do not let anybody tell you you can't when you can. You can. This is a sport you can play in and not have to have millions of dollars. I'm trying to show that every day, every time I do something in the shop, when you watch me make a window, when you watch me turn a barbecue into something to heat up a piece of plexiglass, or for me to cut a hole in the chassis to make the exhaust work, or to make the windows go up and down, or to do a body job on it, to take a piece of metal and make it work. I haven't got millions of dollars worth of tools. I do not want millions of dollars worth of tools. I want to do it with what I can, to be creative. And anybody can do this. And if you're a young person like Trenton Fancy, as a young boy at 10 years old, why does he have to think that you need all this stuff to build a car? I want to show that you do not need all that stuff to build a car. That's who I am, and I'm going to stay that way. And I think there's more people that do not have the money than do have the money. And I am the guy for you, because I want to show you that you can. Not can't, can. And every day I build a car here, I can. You know, that's what I want to show people. You know, as people, some people write in some pretty weird stuff, but this is for the people that have the will and the want. I'm showing you that you can do it, because I do it right in front of your face. Ask yourself, can you make a barbecue turn into a heat thing? Yes, you can. Can you make a window? Yes, you can. I'm showing you, and I hope that the people that do not have the money are inspired to go for it. Just because you do not have hundreds of thousands of dollars does not mean you cannot play. And I'll tell you why. I don't care who builds a car. I can play with them any day of the week with less money than they do, with no money. I don't care if you put a $200,000 car on the floor. I can build a car that will look just as creative as theirs does with no money. Watch me. I hope that people understand that you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You do not have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars and all kinds of tools to make a car. Papa Tossa My Garage. What's that called?
Papa Tom's Garage.
Papa Tom's Garage. New to the channel and enjoy what I saw. You're talented and knowledgeable. Thanks. Well, thank you very much, Papa Tom's Garage. I'm trying to inspire the people with no money and have a little bit of will and want is what I'm saying. You have to have the will and want, and you can play with the people that have money. You do not need all that stuff, and I'm showing it every day, and I hope that you appreciate it. You know, the kids that are coming up that, you know, are not wealthy, you can still play. You can do it, and I am doing it, and I'm showing you. Go for it. You win a hat or a shirt of your choice, Papa Tom's Garage, because you're a good comment. We appreciate that you're new to the channel. We want more people to come on, and you know just as well as I do, there's more people that cannot afford it than can, and I'm your guy.